Do you ever look at the calendar and wonder where the last few years went? One day you are a kid, and the next, you are facing responsibilities that feel heavier every single day. Most people spend their lives sleepwalking through these changes, only to wake up one day filled with regret. Well, if you watch this video till the end, you will gain the clarity that most people only get when it's too late. I am going to share 7 brutal truths about getting older that will instantly wake you up. These aren't meant to scare you, they are meant to set you free. Do not skip this video, because accepting these truths today can completely change your future. Let's begin. Aging is not just about getting more grey hair or slower reflexes. Aging is a psychological process. We treat time like it is infinite. We spend our years as if we have a backup life, waiting in a storage room. But here is the reality. Your time is a diminishing asset. Most people are terrified of aging. They try to hide it, they try to outrun it, and they try to pretend that nothing is changing. But that resistance is exactly what destroys your mental peace. You are fighting a war against the clock, and you are destined to lose. But what if you stopped fighting? What if you use these brutal truths to build a life that actually matters? You think confidence is a feeling, but it's not. True confidence is the quiet knowledge that you are spending your life on the right things. Today, we are going to look at the cold, hard facts of life. Once you see them, you cannot unsee them. And that is exactly how you start living for real. Truth 1. Your social circle will naturally shrink. The first brutal truth is that your social circle will get smaller. When you were younger, you thought having 50 friends made you popular. You spent every weekend trying to please everyone. You were terrified of missing out on a party or an event. But as you get older, the noise starts to fade. You realize that most of those friendships were just proximity. You were only friends because you sat in the same classroom or worked in the same office. Once that context disappears, the connection vanishes. This feels painful at first. You might think, why is everyone leaving? But listen closely. This is not a loss. It is a filter. As you grow, your values change. You stop caring about meaningless gossip. You stop wanting to be around drama, and that is okay. The brain loves closure, and sometimes closure means walking away from people who do not match your current version of reality. Stop trying to keep everyone in your life. You don't need a crowd. You need a compass. A few deep, honest connections are worth more than 1,000 shallow ones. When your circle shrinks, it is a sign that you are finally focusing on quality. Embrace the silence. It is where you find out who you really are. Truth 2. Nobody is coming to save you. The second brutal truth is the hardest one to swallow. Nobody is coming to save you. When you are a child, you assume that if things go wrong, someone will fix them. Your parents, your teachers, your mentors. You wait for a hero. And even as adults, many people keep waiting. They wait for a partner to complete them. They wait for a boss to recognize their talent. They wait for the government or the economy to make life easier. This is the ultimate trap. Waiting for a savior is a silent habit that destroys your agency. It keeps you in a permanent state of helplessness. You are always looking for external validation, which makes you incredibly easy to manipulate. But here is the reality. Everyone else is busy trying to save themselves. That might sound harsh, but it is the most empowering thing you will ever hear. If nobody is coming to save you, then you are the only one who can. You are the architect of your own reality. The day you stop explaining yourself to others and start acting on your own behalf, your life changes. You stop asking for permission to be great. You stop making excuses for your failures. You take absolute responsibility. That is the moment you become dangerous, not to others, but to your own mediocrity. You are your own savior. Start acting like it. Truth 3. Time moves faster when you stop learning. Have you ever noticed how years seem to fly by faster as you get older? When you were 10, a summer felt like an eternity. Now, a year feels like a month. Why? It is because your brain stops recording new memories. When you were a child, everything was new. Your brain had to work hard to process the world. You were learning, failing, and exploring. But as you get older, you fall into a routine. You wake up at the same time, take the same route to work, talk to the same people, and watch the same shows. Your brain goes on autopilot. It stops paying attention because there is nothing new to record. And because your brain has no new memories to store, time feels like it is disappearing. This is the routine trap. If you want to slow down time, you must become a student of life again. You have to break your patterns, learn a new skill, visit a place you have never been, have an uncomfortable conversation, do something that scares you. Every time you learn something new, you create a new memory. And every new memory makes your life feel longer and richer. Stop being a spectator. Participate in life. The moment you stop learning is the moment you stop living. Truth 4. Your regrets are just evidence. The fourth brutal truth is that your regrets are not signs of failure, they are signs of growth. People get older and start looking back. They think about the job they didn't take, the person they didn't marry, or the risk they didn't dare to face. They let these memories haunt them. They let regret become a weight that drags them into the ground. But I want you to reframe this. Regret is actually evidence that you have a conscience and a desire for more. It is proof that you are still evolving. If you never regretted anything, it would mean you never tried, never risked, and never cared. The goal is not to have a life with zero regrets. That is impossible. The goal is to make sure your future regrets are about things you did try, rather than things you were too afraid to touch. You think perfection is the goal? Perfection is a myth. Be the person who returns to their goals again and again. If you broke your streak, don't quit. Return. That is real consistency. Stop analyzing your past with shame. Analyze it with curiosity. Ask yourself, what did that mistake teach me? Then move on. You cannot change the past, but you can definitely control the lesson. Truth 5. People don't think about you as much as you think. This truth will save you thousands of hours of anxiety. Most of your life is spent worrying about what other people think. You don't wear that outfit because of what they will say. You don't start that business because of what they will think. You don't speak your mind because of how they will react. But here is the brutal truth. People are not thinking about you. They are far too busy thinking about themselves. They are worried about their own bills, their own insecurities, and their own reputations. They are the protagonists of their own movies. You are just an extra in the background of their scene. Once you truly accept this, you are free. You realize that the judgment you feared was all in your head. You were the only one holding yourself back. You were the only one judging yourself. Stop carrying the burden of other people's opinions. They are not carrying you, so why are you carrying them? Build your life based on your own values, not someone else's screen time. The world is too busy to judge you, so go ahead and do the work. Truth 6. You are not as busy as you think. The sixth brutal truth is that you are not busy. You are just distracted. People love saying, "I'm so busy." It's a badge of honor. It makes us feel important. We juggle tasks, we multitask, and we live in a state of constant, low-level panic. We call this being productive. But let's look at your day honestly. How much of that busyness actually produces results? How much of it is just busy work? How much of it is just reacting to emails, social media, and other people's emergencies? You are drowning in consumption while pretending to be creating. This busy lifestyle is a choice. It is a way to avoid doing the hard, deep work that actually changes your life. It is easier to be busy than to be excellent. Close the tabs in your brain. Focus on one single, uncomfortable, high-impact task at a time. The smartest people eventually choose a quiet, boring life because they know that focus is a limited resource. Do not confuse activity with achievement. Achieve something that lasts, and stop chasing the illusion of being busy. Truth 7. Your life is determined by what you repeat. The final brutal truth is the most powerful one. Your life is not determined by what you do once in a while. It is determined by what you repeat. We look for big, cinematic breakthroughs. We want one moment to change everything. We wait for the big break. But life doesn't work that way. Life is the boring accumulation of small daily repetitions. If you want to be happy, don't look for one happy event. Build a life where you repeat healthy, positive choices every single day. If you want to be successful, don't wait for a miracle. Repeat the small, disciplined actions that lead to growth. Everything you have in your life today is a result of your habits, your health, your relationships, your bank account. They are all just the physical evidence of what you have been repeating for years. This is terrifying if you are repeating bad habits, but it is the most hopeful news in the world if you are willing to change your repetitions. You don't need a new life to become a new person. You only need new repetitions. One new routine can become a new identity. Start today, not next month, not next year, today. Choose one habit from this list and commit to it, just one. Because the quality of your life is not a mystery. It is a formula, and that formula is entirely under your control. Remember, getting older is a privilege that many are denied. Do not spend it in a state of fear or regret. You have the power to break the cycle of mediocrity. You have the power to stop waiting for a savior and start being one. You have the power to stop consuming and start creating. At first, taking responsibility will feel difficult. You will feel restless. Your brain will beg you for the old, comfortable routine. You may even want to quit. But I promise you, after a few days, your brain slowly starts adapting. The invisible weight on your shoulders will start to lift. You are training your brain for peace, for strength, and for wisdom. Every single day, you are teaching your brain what kind of person to become. So, be intentional. Be brave. Be the person who returns to their goals after a bad day. Be the person who refuses to be manipulated by fear. Be the person who isn't afraid to walk alone if the crowd isn't going in your direction. You have everything you need inside of you to build an incredible life. You just need to show up for it every single day. Maybe this is the day you finally wake up. If this message connected with you, do not just listen and move on. Real change happens through repeated reminders. Subscribe to this channel, turn on notifications, and join a community focused on building stronger minds. And share this video with someone who needs to hear this harsh truth. Sometimes, a single message heard at exactly the right moment becomes the first step toward an entirely different future. Stay strong and start today.